Hello, I'm Ian and this is Somerset News Network. The government are talking about digital ID. I don't think this is a good idea because what it'll do is put all your information, computerize it. They're even talking about bioscanning eyes or fingerprints. I think it's a step too far. We already have a system of ID, which is the photographic driving license. I moved 2 years ago and I've got to change things, change my address, and I'm trying to order stuff and get contracts. I need physical ID. My passport is out of date, so a valid passport I cannot use. Oh, they said, we'll have a look at your driving license. So I got out my pink. I got an old pink driving license, but that's got my old address on it. And I'm in the process of trying to change it over to a photo ID so I can stop all the hassle. I don't want photo ID. I'm me. I know who I am. But the powers that be and the computers all now want photographic ID. I can see the need for photo driving license. Okay, we got that. But I also have a shotgun certificate, which is issued by the police, which has my photograph on. So one company I went to, I took along my shotgun certificate. And they said, oh no, it's got to be a passport or a photo driving license. And I said, yes, but that's issued by the police and it has my address on it and my photo. That proves it's me because it's been issued by the authorities. Anyway, the guy went out the back, spoke to his supervisor, came back and said, yes sir, that will be okay. Turns out the supervisor is a shooter, one of my old customers. So anyway, we sorted that one out. But the hassle it causes by not having photo ID. Now, I'm not against photo ID now. I was, but I sort of understand that you can't get along without it now. But the digital ID, I totally reject. It's 1984 Orwell on steroids. We've already got the thought police. The police, the police arrested a veteran who had a sign. He was in a wheelchair. He had a sign and it said, this is not the country I fought for. They arrested him for that because it was a hate crime. A child, a girl, viewed or commented on a post on social media. She had 2 police officers at her door demanding that they have the kid's phone. Now, I understood that the police, to do that, would need a warrant, the same as if it was a grown-up. But what right have they got to come and take your phone if they haven't got a warrant? And that's what I think. And it's got to be a wet signature on a warrant. There's been shenanigans with somebody using a office in a county court. I think it's Nottingham. And they're using an office in the county court. And they're using that address and issuing warrants by photocopy to bailiffs and other companies. They're not warrants issued by a magistrate or a judge. And there was a report, it must be about 4 or 5 years ago, that the guy is recording it on his phone and the police turn up, or let's say the bailiffs turn up and try and take stuff off of him, and he shows him a photocopy with this court address saying it's a warrant, and he said, well, where's the wet signature? Oh, it's a warrant, sir, we can do what we want. Anyway, the police turned up. The bailiffs asked for the police to be there. Oh, I'm here, sir, to make sure there isn't a breach of the peace, said the police officer. Anyway, the guy explained to the police officer that it wasn't a valid warrant because it didn't have a wet signature. Police officer went outside the garden, went to his patrol car, got on his phone, on his radio, spoke to his supervisor, came back, looked at the warrant, said there's no wet signature, this is an invalid warrant, and would you please leave? And the bailiffs had to go. But we've not got to fall into the trap of the tyranny of government. And this Labour government is George Orwell 1984 on steroids. It wants to stop free speech. And what they do is they say it's a non-crime hate incident. Well, what the hell's that? It either is a crime or not a crime. And why are the police investigating a non-crime? Because it isn't a crime. The second thing they use is a hate crime. And then if that wants to escalate, they then call it malicious communications. Well, to be malicious communications, it has to be constant. It has to be over a certain number of messages or emails, or basically harassing somebody. That's malicious communications, as far as I understand. I did one line comment on somebody's post on Facebook. A single line comment. And I had a 4-month police investigation. Now, talking to my mate who's a copper, he talked me through it, or I explained what happened. He said, were you cautioned? I said, what do you mean cautioned? Well, they got to say anything you may say may be taken down and given evidence against you. And I said, no. Well, he said, if they never cautioned you to start with before they started interviewing you, that was illegal. They could never then arrest you, and you were never going to go to court. Well, why did it take 4 months then for this investigation to take place? He said, it's political. The government wants it done to stop free speech. The idea is you harass people who think for themselves, who say things the government does not like. And now we're seeing it out. 2,000 people have been arrested for non-crime hate incidents or a hate crime since Starmer's taken power. That doesn't account for the number of people that have been harassed by the police and think now, oh, I can't say that, I'll get police at my door. People say to me, Ian, you've got to be ever so careful what you say. You might get another visit from the police. What I say is what I think, is how I perceive the world. I think 95% of the time, I'm right. I make mistakes. If I make a mistake, I will admit it. It's like this Tim Price I talked about. I now don't believe he is running the sock puppets. Anyway, I'm going into that, and there's more on that to come later. But I'm totally against this Labour government putting through digital ID. It's bad news. And if you don't want digital ID, then write to your MP, even if he's a Labour MP, and tell him. If he's a Labour MP, just say, I'm not going to vote Labour. I'm going to vote Reform. And if he's got 100 letters from people that voted Labour, and you say, I am a supporter, I've been a member, but under Starmer I can't support you anymore and I'm going to vote Reform, let them know. 100 letters from the constituents will make him think, hang on a minute, and we may be able to change the mind of Starmer. I think Starmer's a bit of a narcissist, and I don't think we'll be able to do it, but we've got to try. Got to try as hard as we can to try and change their mind. Anyway, this is Ian, Somerset News Network, signing off. Bye bye for now.